TC headquarters in Denmark in the brand new guitar room with Paul from Guitar World.
Yes.
So thanks for coming all the way over here. So
well, it's an honor to be here, and again, I can't wait to see the really great stuff coming from TC Electronic. I mean, you guys have raised the bar here, so
cool.
it's
Thanks.
awesome.
But you've been with Guitar World for a long time, right?
Very long time, 15 years.
So, did you start out as the?
I did not.
Video.
No, that sort of came along. For me, I mean, I started out in Guitar World as a production coordinator guy, and one of my colleagues at the time recommended me to do, because of my knowledge of gear and stuff like that, he basically told Brad Tolinsky, our editor-in-chief, that I was the guy, and suddenly I'm the guy doing the videos.
But they're hugely popular. I mean, you do an amazing job at that.
Thank you. Thank you. We try. We try, but...
So speaking of gear, are you like a total gearhead, or...?
I am and I'm not. You know, that you get to a point when you start playing and you start you become voracious in gear. You're like, oh, I got to try this, I got to try that, and you tried all this gear, and what starts to happen is after you try out just about everything, you start going back to the things that you originally, started with, and you start realizing that you start to pare it down, and you kind of edit yourself. You know, having too much gear is a problem. Yeah. You're just trying to find the things that are always that you need and use most of the time. Me as being a gearhead, I do have a lot of gear. I just what I'd like to do is I like to think of everything that I have as tools. So if I need to do this, I have the tools for that job. So yeah.
But I guess you're in a, I think a lot of guys, they read about gear and they listen to gear on YouTube now and stuff like that. But you're actually in a position where you get to try out this stuff. Yes. Whereas a lot of guys, they only, they dream and fantasize about owning a certain piece of gear, but they actually never tried it.
Yeah, I'm lucky in that respect that I get to, get first look at most things that are coming out from manufacturers, and it's always very exciting too. And a lot of times that people, they like to say that I seem to like everything, and that's not necessarily the truth. For me, like I like certain things that I know are going to work for me, but the most important thing, it's hard to say that something is particularly bad, because what I may not like is probably the core sound of another type of guitar player. So that's really what you have to look for. I have to find the things that I think are going to work for that guitar player, as opposed to me, if I don't really care for it. But for the most part, I think guitar players are smart enough to know when they see something that's really good, they know right away this is a great thing, a great piece of gear, whatever it is, whether it's a guitar, pedal, or amp,
So do you have any kind of favorite guitars, amps, something you always kind of tend to gravitate back towards?
Again, I go back to it being like I find them to be tools, and depending on the kind of gig or band that I'm playing, and I tend to use the guitar that's best suited for a gig. But for the most part, I've always been pretty much a Les Paul or Stratocaster guy. But lately, I've had a new love for Teles, so I'm a big Telecaster guy.
So, trying out all this different gear, are you hard to impress? Do you think that it's like everybody's coming up with the same things all over again? Or
no, I know when my job is over, when I'm totally cynical about every piece of gear. I still get excited every time I see something new. I'm like, and because I look back at the time when I was younger, and all the gear just did one thing and didn't do everything all that well, and I've been finding that all the gear that's coming out today has made all of our lives a lot easier and a lot, simple and easy to use, and it's affordable. Yeah,
and it's really good now. I mean, I remember starting playing, and those cheap guitars were really cheap guitars.
That's true.
And today, picking up,
Yeah, I agree with you. And the other point I always tell you, it's very hard nowadays to make something that's really bad. I mean, literally, manufacturers, there's so much automation and precision.
We try, but
yeah. But it's hard. You'd have to go out of your way to really make a bad piece of equipment. You have to literally sit there and like, well, I'm going to make this sound terrible, and I'm going to sell it. That doesn't happen. All the gear that's out there is generally very, very good.
Well, cool. It's so great to have you here, and hopefully we can spend a little more time nerding out on gear.
Yes. Thanks for having me. This is really an honor. So it's awesome.
An honor for us. Yeah.